Greetings, my dear Digimon figure fans! This is Mega881000 again. As promised, at the end of my update video on the last 5 reviews of the Edition video series comes now my further information video on the topic about the back then Digimon Data Squad Savers action figures as another kinda addition for all these previous videos on this topic. This information edition video here is about the smaller transformable Digimon action figure series for Digimon Data Squad Savers, the so-called Lightning Digivolving series. I will now shortly explain what the series was for those who know this and don't want to see it. Then just use the timestamps option to get to the actual main topic of this video, which of course concerns this figure series, but will be about the further planned mysterious figures about which I actually believed until now that those never been produced but cancelled. Are you curious, guys? Yeah, now I'm just explaining what the series was. Under this Lightning Digivolving action figure series, they released the normal 3 Agumon to Geogreymon, Garurumon to Garurumon, and Falcomon to Pac-Mon. By the way, I don't own a single one of them, though they actually looked pretty good in terms of color design and sculpted details, but I wasn't aware of that so much back then. If you are wondering why I'm making no real on-camera review about them and just a simple information vid, yeah, that's all the reasons for this. I don't have any of them. As I said, the Lightning Digivolving figures was a smaller series of transformable figures than in contrary the bigger 6-inch tall real transformable or Digivolving action figure series. The Lightning Digivolving figures, on the other hand, were just about 3.5 inches or 8.9 centimeters tall, but at least they were slightly bigger than in contrary the figures of the action figure series released for the previous Digimon anime seasons before. Considering the circumstances and for being action figures for kids, they were pretty well and decent detailed in terms of sculpt and coloring. They actually were not real transformable figures and without a mechanical compression of parts, body parts in general. Though the transformation system was much simpler compared to the big real transforming figures, it was still a new designed and very unique transformation system. The system was a kind of armor put-on transformation, kinda similar to the big 8-inch tall transformable hybrid Spirit Digivolving or Japanese Spirit Evolution series action figures released for Digimon Frontier, but yeah, again in a much simpler and smaller form. With the Lightning Digivolving figures you got a real figure mold according to the circumstances as a full partially articulated action figure of Geogreymon or Garurumon or Pac-Mon, so each were in their higher evolution form on adult champion level. And then you got the individual armor put-on parts as body parts from their respective child rookie forms of Agumon, Garurumon and Falcomon, to attach them on each of their respective adult forms in order to have the Geogreymon figure with the attached body parts of Agumon as Agumon's form, or Digivolve back the Garurumon figure with the attached body parts of Garurumon in Garumon's form, or to Digivolve back the Pac-Mon figure with the attached body parts of Falcomon to get Falcomon's form. I think the pictures are showing here along the video, all those pictures, yeah, showing this very well. Better explained, the higher evolution level was included as a normal figure, plus individual parts of the pre-evolution forms such as arms, legs and head. For example, the parts in the form of Agumon's arms, legs and head were attached to the Geogreymon figure. The same system applies to Garurumon, Garurumon and Falcomon, Pac-Mon. However, due to this type of transformation system, the pre-evolution form were much bigger than the higher evolution forms levels, which made it seem rather unrealistic. And that was probably exactly the reason why these Lightning Digivolving figures didn't appeal to me that much back then. This made it seem more like the respective higher evolution level was just cosplaying its pre-evolution form with oversized bulky body parts of its respective pre-evolution form. The actual transformation into the again higher evolution level and what the term Lightning Digivolving probably referred to consisted of using a kind of built-in lever in order to then quickly blast away the attached individual body parts of the respective pre-evolution form from the respective actual figure of the higher evolution level. That's why it was called the Lightning Digivolving series, because by quickly attaching the individual body parts of the pre-evolution form and then again by operating the lever, this lightning fast blasting away of the body parts of the pre-evolution form from the adult form made a lightning fast transformation from the respective child to the adult level and vice versa possible within a few seconds. This made a much quicker transformation and easier transformation possible than it is in contrary with the real transformable Digimon action figures from the Digivolving or Super Evolution series. Logical thing, or isn't it? But as I mentioned before, I just wanted to give you a short summary of what this Lightning Digivolving figure series was and what the transformation system was like for these figures, for better understanding reasons, because I can't really show you these figures in a real on-camera review. Most of you will probably still know or remember them, but the focus of this video should actually be on something else. As I said at the beginning, just wanted to explain what this figure series actually was for those of you who may not know those Lightning Digivolving figures or forgot about them. Yeah, now let us finally get to the actual main topic and focus of this video, and that are the following very interesting things. Because for the smaller Lightning Digivolving action figure series, there were also supposed to be probably 2 further figures planned to be released, besides the normal previously 3 shown ones, namely those here. Lightning Digivolving Kudamon to Chirinmon and Kamemon to Shavuchinmon. Yeah guys, surprise surprise. In general, I think that I know that the Lightning Digivolving series and the molds for these figures were designed and produced by Bandai of America, and that this Lightning Digivolving series was not imported by Bandai Japan and therefore not sold officially in Japan. In any case, I have never seen Japanese versions or blister cards of the Lightning Digivolving figures. This should actually be the proof of this. I only know about these US versions or our European versions, that those blister cards also had generally this blue design, similar to the box design of the bigger real transforming Digivolving action figures of Data Squad Savers. But I believe that all 3 normal ones of the smaller Lightning Digivolving series were also available in Europe, Germany, and these blue blister cards. I remember I seen Gargamon and Agumon Geogreymon for sure, even in my German stores back then. But in the case of Falcomon, Pac-Mon, I am not as sure. Maybe this was also only sold by Bandai America and Asia, but maybe not in Europe, Germany. There were also similar blue Bandai Asia blister card versions, but for which they used instead the original Japanese Digimon Savers logo and not our Western World Market Data Squad logo. But this basically means that the 3 normal Lightning Digivolving figures were also imported by Bandai Asia and so also seen a release in Asian countries. More on this topic later on. But as already mentioned before, in addition to the 3 normal ones in the series, there should probably be 2 more Lightning Digivolving action figures. But I strongly believe that these 2 further figures of Kudamon to Chirinmon and Kamemon to Shavuchinmon did never made it over the prototype state figures and got never actually produced and released. I just assumed until now that production for these 2 further figures was completely cancelled. At least that's how I wanted to sell it to you until now, and I almost did it that way. First of all, briefly, some more brief informations. There were also the 3 normal Lightning Digivolving Data Squad figure releases packaged also in these orange colored blister card versions or in boxes in this orange design. There will be also more on this topic soon. Just keep that in mind at first. The important thing about this now is that before I had seen these 2 further Lightning Digivolving figures of Kudamon to Chirinmon and Kamemon to Shavuchinmon only pictured or advertised on the backsides of exactly these orange colored Lightning Digivolving blister card versions. That's why I assumed that these 2 others only existed as finished painted prototypes or only as those product shots of them on those blisters, orange blisters. Because even on the blue Bandai Asia blister card versions, as well as on the Bandai Korea boxes of the 3 other bigger transformable Bandai Korea exclusive figures of Agumon, Shine Greymon, Gaomon, Mirage Gargamon and Kudamon, Chirinmon, these 2 further Lightning Digivolving figures are not even pictured advertised. As I said, up until now I would have sold it to you like this, as if Bandai had simply cancelled the production for Lightning Digivolving Kudamon, Chirinmon and Kamemon to Shavuchinmon completely and for every country. The script and the audio recordings for this info video I also already finished, and I was just searching for more pictures of the different packaging versions of these Lightning Digivolving figures and some more information for this video, and actually found by this, for the first time, this other picture of this actually existing blister card and packaged figure in it of Lightning Digivolving Kamemon to Shavuchinmon, packaged in another blue blister card version similar to our Western World blister card versions, coloring wise. But this is definitely the Bandai Korea release version. The inscriptions are all in Korean, as is the Digimon logo here. I can see this because my Korean window box versions of the 3 bigger transformable Bandai Korea exclusive releases have a similar design. Luckily, I found this picture of a kind of offer for this actually produced figure of Lightning Digivolving Kamemon Shavuchinmon, otherwise I would have almost told you something completely wrong things. But these pictures are definitely real, as you can even see the unpacked figure in both of its possible forms and from every angle, and that is proof that at least Bandai Korea officially produced and sold it for the release in South Korea back then. That also fits Bandai Korea because they also officially produced and sold the by Bandai Japan designed prototype figures of the bigger fully transformable series as Bandai Korea exclusive figure releases, even though Bandai Japan completely cancelled their production due to poor merchandise sales at the time, but I have already done reviews about those bigger ones. You should remember. But based on this fact, it can be assumed that Bandai Korea also officially produced and sold the Lightning Digivolving Kudamon Chirinmon figure back then. Unfortunately, I haven't found any proving pictures, photos of the actual figure or the blister card of Lightning Digivolving Kudamon Chirinmon, so I can't give you any direct proof of that. But when Bandai Korea made the one additional Kamemon Shavuchinmon Lightning Digivolving figure, why wouldn't they have made the second one? That wouldn't make any sense to me, and I would say, yeah, let's leave it at that. By the way, those pictures I showed you of them here are admittedly kinda some bit better and bigger ones, and I found them in a listing for Digimon Data Squad Savers Toys at the Wikimon page. But if you're looking closely, these bigger, supposedly different pictures of those two further figures are actually the same product shots of the prototype figures from the orange blister card versions backsides. If you're considering the photo angle by that, you can clearly see that those are just edited and enlarged pictures of the original product shots from the orange blister cards backsides. Now something again about the Bandai Asia blister versions with the blue design with the Japanese Digimon Savers logo, and the blister versions with the orange design and our Data Squad logo. The crazy thing is that the blisters with this orange coloring and designs, apart from the coloring, are very similar to our blue Western World blister card versions, or especially the US blisters, because the inscriptions are all in English, like on the blue US blister cards, like you can see. That's why I initially suspected that these orange blister card versions were not Bandai Asia release versions. I suspected this before, also because of our Data Squad logo on them, because the blue Bandai Asia blister versions use the Japanese Digimon Savers logo. Yeah. By the way, there were also these other Data Squad toys, such as the bigger fully transforming Digivolving Digimon Data Squad action figures packaged in window boxes with that same orange design. Not just the Lightning Digivolving series were packed in those orange colored boxes. Since I found an eBay offer for the Falcomon Pac-Mon figure packaged in this orange blister card version, and this was offered from an Australian seller, I first thought that these packaging versions with the orange designs could have been the official Bandai Australia or Canada market releases, or that they might have packaged them like that there, and I almost would have sold that to you like that as well. But that would have been very wrong as well. Yes, surprise guys, because through my later found pictures and researching thing, I noticed this official Bandai Asia sticker on the back of this orange blister card. I also found this photo of the front of the same blister card, and you can see the golden Toei seal sticker at the top right section there for proving the authenticity of this product, which our Western World packaging versions never had back then. Only Bandai Japan and Asia releases had that Toei seal sticker. And now I am sure that I have found out the following, namely, that these orange blister and window box versions, all those orange blister cards, the other toys with our Digimon Data Squad logo, as well as the blue ones with the Japanese Savers logo that I previously referred to as Bandai Asia versions already, were generally both Bandai Asia packaging versions. The ones with the orange designs in general and the English inscriptions, which are very similar to our US versions in that respect, were the Bandai Asia versions that were sold in English-speaking Asian territories. The other blue versions with the Japanese Digimon Savers logo, which I previously referred to, also the Bandai Asia release versions, with the less English and more of those Chinese inscriptions, were the Bandai Asia versions that were sold in the non-English speaking Asian territories. And the blue Bandai Korea versions in general were again special versions just for Korea by Bandai Korea. They made their own thing. And maybe while you're wondering about why do I know this, well, maybe it sounds a bit familiar to you somehow, because it was the same with the Digimon Frontier Spirit Digivolving action figures. They were also packaged in these blister cards with two different designs in terms of color and shape. I made an update video about this topic a while ago. Because I didn't knew this before, my Bandai Asia packaged the same figures but in different designed blister cards, which were supposed to be like both Asia versions. Thanks to an eBay seller who knew this and wrote it in the item descriptions offer, I also knew this since this time now for these Frontier figures. And now, like Shinichi Kudo, I have combined and derived this for the Data Squad Savers figures, because that is and can be the only logical conclusion for these different existing packaging designs. Furthermore, these blue Bandai Asia blisters with the Japanese Digimon Savers logo and the from me assumed Chinese inscriptions and the yellow warning section down there, looking all very similar in the design and even in the shape to the Digimon Frontier Bandai Asia blister card versions I spoken of right before, that were intended for sales in non-English speaking Asian territories. So this is the next piece of evidence that it could be this way. But the strange thing is that these two additional Lightning Digivolving figures were only pictured on the back side of these orange Bandai Asia blister cards for the English-speaking Asian territories as further available figures to promote them, though they were most likely not even available there, or their production for these territories and regions was just cancelled. Even if they were shown and advertised on the back of the orange blister cards, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. In any case, I haven't found any photo evidence of this so far. Well, yes, and of course the two further figures are pictured on the back sides of the Bandai Korea Lightning Digivolving blister cards for promotion. Yeah. Based on these facts, we know... No. Based on these facts, we now simply have to assume that the further two figures were only produced by Bandai Korea and only sold there, since this Korean blister card is the only existing proof and evidence that Bandai Korea really officially produced them. And this fact is not so far-fetched. I mean, with these photos of the Kamemon Shavujinmon figure in the blister figure, the photos of this figure, we have the proof anyways. But Bandai Korea was also the only country which officially produced and sold the other three bigger transformable ones. Yeah, so again, an evidence. The next strange thing about this is that those two further Lightning Digivolving figures are even not pictured on the window boxes of these Bandai Korea exclusive produced figures of the bigger transforming figures as further available figures, even though Bandai Korea was most likely the only country that actually produced them. Very, very strange. I also still suspecting that the two further blend figures or their prototypes were also originally designed by Bandai America, the molds, or also just Bandai Asia, or both. Whatever is true about this, Bandai America so cancelled the production for them, and Bandai Asia probably did the same for the English-speaking Asian territories, so only Bandai Korea again produced them. If we now assuming that they also produced Kudamon, Chirinmon Lightning Digivolving figure. Yeah, so much about that topic. And with that we have actually reached the end of this edition video on this topic and the main topic. I hope it was interesting for you and I was able to tell you something new about the further planned mysterious Lightning Digivolving action figures from back then. If that's the case, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Yeah, but one thing more, when I said those Lightning Digivolving blister cards with the Japanese Digimon Savers logo for the non-English speaking Asian territories also have the same orange inscriptions on the right side of the blister on the front, like those blister cards of the Frontier Spirit Digivolving figures, which were also dedicated for the non-English speaking Asian territories. That was a thing I forgot to tell you. Yeah. Well then, goodbye and see you again for the next Real Edition review video. Now we are truly through this video. We are finished. Yeah, and yeah, or a next episode of this edition video series, also in general video instead. Thanks for watching, your Mega 88 1000.